Okay, so today's piece is Mysteries of the Macabre by Georges Ligeti, and it is originally a piece for soprano and piano, I believe, or soprano and orchestra, arranged for trumpet and piano here by Elgar Howarth. So the original piece was written in 1977. Elgar Howarth arranged it in 1988, and I think this is a pretty popular arrangement of it. It's kind of an interesting thing. Um, at the top of this score, it's signed Justin Worthington. I'm not sure if that's a trumpet player. Maybe it was checked out of this University of Victoria library by Justin in 2007. Like I've mentioned in other episodes, like these PDFs have come to me from all kinds of places, so who knows? This isn't really the score, it's just the trumpet part, but it's about 7 minutes long. So there's quite a lot going on. I think each page is going to go by in about a minute. There's some speaking, it looks like, some air noise stuff, some pretty big performance indications, like dramatic stuff, because it's a more theatrical kind of piece. At least the soprano version is. By the way, I would highly recommend the Barbara Hannigan performance if you want to hear the original. This one I'm not actually, like, I've never actually watched a performance of it, so I'm kind of intrigued how it comes across. The arranger, this is the first time we've actually talked about an arranger on the channel. I think every other score we've been looking at has been composed, like, just straight from the composer, but yeah, this I guess is a good time to be talking about Elgar because he passed away quite recently. He was born in 1935 and he died in 2025. He was not only a trumpeter but also an English conductor and composer, and he's associated with Peter Maxwell Davies. I know that, but it looks like also he was classmates with Harrison Birtwistle, Alexander Goyer, and David Ellis. This was at the University of Manchester in the 1950s. His conducting debut with the London Sinfonietta was in a tour in 1969 in Italy, where he conducted the Rake's Progress, which is a famous opera by Stravinsky. I guess it would have been a new opera at that point. It would have been like 10 years old or so. Ligeti engaged him for the premiere of the Grand Macabre. So yeah, he was, I guess, conducting that piece a bit, and then he wrote an analysis of the text and music for Opera magazine, reflecting no one in Stockholm. This is where the piece was premiered in 1978. No one in Stockholm realized how inexperienced he was. I never thought I'd get into opera because I don't play the piano. I knew I had a natural technical ability, but I was naive about other things. I was never assistant conductor to anybody, so I didn't know how far ahead you had to plan, how many string rehearsals you would need, whether it would be okay for the first oboe not to come to the first rehearsal. He actually has like a very big history with this piece as a conductor, and then he decided to arrange it for trumpet. Sorry if this is a bit all over the place today. I'm kind of just got off work trying to piece this Wikipedia together. Yeah, I guess he's just been doing all kinds of stuff in the UK, in that, especially in the sort of peak of his career, which I guess was from the 60s through 70s. So cool. Um, by the way, yesterday we looked at a piece which was which Peter Maxwell Davies wrote for Elgar Howarth, the Sonata from 1955 for trumpet and piano. Um, so this is a nice extension of that, I think, to hear this piece. If you're interested in George Ligeti's music, we've gone through a lot of other scores of his. This might even be the last score of his that, yeah. So at this point, I will have exhausted my Ligeti scores. So let's send this off with a bang, I guess. Link to the recording is in the video description. Okay, so this was an interesting little arrangement. I think a lot gets lost when you remove the text, um, but it is a really nice little showpiece, oddly enough. It's really endurance heavy and has some incredibly high notes. Has this moment at the end where the trumpet has to increase the intensity as far as possible with these repeated C's. That was a really um, like interesting moment for me as a composer, like hearing what a trumpet can do. Um, I thought it was interesting that the pianist had some percussion and spoken word stuff to do, uh, along with the trumpet player. Um, and certainly, I think you could learn a lot about trumpet writing by comparing this to the original. Um, I should also, I didn't really preface this properly. Like, Mysteries of the Macabre is a set of two arias or so, I think, or maybe three, from Ligeti's only opera, Le Grand Macabre. So it's kind of interesting. It's like work that has been excerpted and then arranged. Um, and also, there is a version of this with chamber orchestra. This is just the version with trumpet and piano. So I think Howarth did both of those. So the piece contains a dual role for a coloratura soprano, which is considered exceptionally difficult. In its premiere, the roles were sung by different singers. So I'm assuming the two arias that are in the suite are those two different things that the soprano, two different characters the soprano has to play. Um, it looks like the original opera is for full orchestra, although I think Mysteries is for chamber orchestra. I'm pretty sure. Um, this opera was written at a point when Ligeti's style was undergoing a significant change away from his 1960s approach. So he starts adopting more eclectic things and tonal things. Um, so I think actually, yeah, there's a lot of allusions to other opera composers. So this could be a really good thing to point to if you want to talk about Ligeti's later style, which I personally think is one of is his best. Like we looked at his Hamburg Concerto on this channel, for example, which is a really late work of his, and it's like phenomenal. I really do think that Elgar looked back fondly at this premiere that he conducted, and 10 years later just started arranging the piece so that he would have something to show people. And I do think that it's probably, I do think that as far as arrangements go, this is pretty like pretty well spirited. It isn't the composer's arrangement. I'm sure Ligeti would have done something different or objected to it entirely, but it does have its own little history, and it's, I think, an interesting piece of trumpet repertoire. So that's it for this series. Why don't I spin the wheel and we'll just figure out what's next? Voice and piano. Sweet. So I don't have a ton of scores in this genre, but I'm sure between all the different things listed as soprano and piano or mezzo soprano, etc., should be able to find quite a bit of things. Um, yeah, maybe this will be a bit inspiring.